Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You have not eaten lunch, your breakfast. Okay. The Deputy Chairperson, commissioners, members and staff of the Electoral Commission, the media fraternity, our fellow Ugandans, ladies and gentlemen, all those who are watching us by whatever platform. On behalf of the Electoral Commission, I'm pleased to welcome you here, the media, to update the country on the program and preparations for the long-awaited administrative units, that is LC1 or village council elections, LC2 or parish council, as well as women's councils and committees elections. As we all know, this program has been pending for a while, and we would like to thank and appreciate the people of Uganda for the patience you have exhibited up to now as you waited for the conduct of these elections. I would also like to thank the government for ensuring that the mandate of the holders of the said administrative units positions have been kept alive in accordance with the law to ensure that there is no leadership vacuum at any given time. And now, with the government having provided the Electoral Commission with the required funds, the Commission is ready to announce and inform the country today the program for the conduct of these very vital elections. As a recap, we are all aware that the government put in place grassroots administrative arrangements or governance by setting up councils and committees at village level. To be specific, the Local Government Act provides that there shall be a village council in every village of the country, be headed by the chairperson, deputized by a deputy chairperson, vice chairperson, and other members of that council. But we want to make one very clear, one clarification. There are two entities at the village level. You have the village council, and then you have the village executive committee. And I think that distinction is very clear, which we are going to highlight in this press briefing. You have the village council, then you have the village committee. Now, who comprises the village council? Who comprises the village committee? We are going to look at that for purposes of clarification. As a result, therefore, the Electoral Commission wishes to highlight some key activities and the dates for the said electoral program. Mind you, this program concerns both administrative units elections at village and parish level, and then women committees elections from village to national level. Again, the details will be given in this press briefing. The first task or exercise is verification of residence and compilation of the village register and update of the village women register. The Electoral Commission has appointed Monday, 6th of July to Friday, 10th July 2026 as the period during which village residents will register to participate in the administrative units elections. In order for you to participate in the village elections, either as a candidate or as a voter, you must be registered in the village register as a resident. So the primary criteria here is residence, not origin. Not I'm born in this village, therefore I'm going to contest. No, are you a resident in the village where you are born? If you are not a resident, then you are not eligible. Because we know there are so many people who are born in certain villages, they don't reside there. So you must be a resident in that area. During this period, and I repeat, the period for registration of village residents is 6th July to 10th July. We shall highlight who qualifies to be on the village register, who qualifies. At the same time, during this period of 6th July to 10th July, the Commission will also be compiling the Village Women's Council Register for purposes of the Women Councils and Committees elections. We have two elections, as I say, LC1, LC2, now for LC1. But we also have elections for the Women Councils at village level. The people who qualify to get to participate in the women's elections, you must be a woman, not transgender, please. You must be a biological woman. So that register, the compilation of that register will be taking place. At the same time, the register for residents for LC1 elections is also taking place. So there will be two registration processes at the same time. The same place, because the villages for women are the same as the villages for participants in LC1 elections. We therefore encourage all eligible and willing residents to turn up in person at the registration center within the village or cell of residence to register their particulars. The total number of villages in Uganda as we talk today is 71,214. 71,214 villages. As I said, we want you to note and emphasize the fact that the registration process shall cover the compilation of two registers, residents for LC1 elections, then for women elections. The compilation of village council register for purposes of electing the village or LC1 chairperson. What's wrong with this thing? The compilation of the village council or general register for purposes of electing the village LC1 chairperson and approval of members of the village executive committee. That is what the first register. The second register is the compilation of the village women's council registers for purposes of electing the village women's committees. Willing, according to the law, any person who is a resident, a citizen, 18 years of age or above, and willing to be a member of the village council are ones who are eligible to register in the village register. Are you willing? You might be a resident, but not willing to be a member of the village council. It's your choice. So if you are willing, step forward during this period and register in those. If you are a woman, you must also be willing. Are you willing to be a member of the village women's committee or not? But for women, let me emphasize this. For women, they will register in both registers. They will register in the village, in the register for their elections, and also in the register for the LC1 elections, because they qualify to participate in both. The women will register in the village for in the village register for LC1 elections, and also for the women register for elections for their committees. The registration exercise shall be free of charge and will be conducted from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. on each of those days. Please let nobody charge any resident for coming to register. Nobody should be charged any money. If there is anybody asking for money from any resident, they should tell us and that person will be arrested. The registration exercise at village level will be conducted by a village election officer who will be appointed by the Electoral Commission. We are going to appoint these village election officers or registration officers from the communities, from those very communities. A person must fulfill the following requirements in order to be registered in the village register. 1, he or she must be a citizen of Uganda who is ordinarily resident in the village of registration. 2, the person must be 18 years of age or above at the time of registration. 3, the person must be willing to be a member of the village council. 4, in the case of the village women's council register, the person must be a female and a citizen of Uganda, 18 years and above, and must be ordinary resident in the village. A person appearing for registration shall be required to provide the following particulars to the village election official: names, national ID card or national ID number or national ID application number. You must state your age. Of course, you have to state your gender. Then the village of residence. Under the law, every time an election is held and there is a process of registration of voters, the commission is required to display that register. And the display period of all these registers in all the villages shall take place from the 13th to the 14th of July 2026. The registers for the Women Council Committees elections and the registers for LC1 elections, they will all take place on those 2 dates, 13th, 14th of July. The display of the registers shall begin at 8 a.m. and end at 6 p.m. at the designated open or public place in the respective villages. We were made to understand that some of these incumbent LC1 chairpersons had started the process of registering citizens as they were looking forward to the elections. Please, let me say this. The only registers that are going to be used during these elections are those which have been generated by the Electoral Commission. Basebe ne banyabo ba LC chairpersons abaliwo kati abadde batandise okuwandiika abatuuze nga mukola register zammwe nga musuubira ze zigenda okukozesebwa mu kulonda. Ezo mpapula zammwe muzikuume eri, tetugenda zikozesa mu kulonda kuno. Tugenda kuteekako enkola y'okuwandiisa abatuuze mu register ezigenda kukozesebwa mu kulonda. Si ezo zammwe ezo mubeere nazo mu bitanda byammwe, temujja kukkirizibwa ozireeta ku lunaku lw'okulonda. During the display process, urge all residents to come and check whether their names are correctly spelled in those registers and in the village where they reside, together with their ID numbers. Was your national ID number rightly recorded or not? Are you recorded or registered in the village of your residence or not? And if there are any particular, or there are any changes or corrections that you think should be made, then you should point them out so that the register is clean before we get to the day of polling. During the display exercise, we also encourage residents to identify the dead. Is there any person who could have passed on who is on the register of residents? The underaged is a person whom you know is a child of so and so, but is not 18 years of age. Those who do not reside in the village, surely, maybe with the urban areas, I don't know how many people know their neighbors in the Kampala here. I don't know how many. But one of the reasons is to check, is Muwanga really a resident in our village or not? Because I'm told some people, they move from some village, they go and register in the other village, so as to participate either as candidates in that village. We've heard of those stories. So these are the things we want to sort out during the display process. Now, for village women committees, the composition of village women committees comprises of the following according to the law, according to the National Women's Councils Act. The composition of village committees, of women village committees, is there's a chairperson, vice chairperson, secretary, publicity secretary, and secretary for finance. Now, there is a fundamental difference when it comes to elections for women councils or committees and the village or LC1 elections. All these positions of village committees for women, which are 5, are elective positions. But for LC1 committee, the composition is 11 members, but only one position is elective on that day, the one of the chairperson. So I think that's a difference that needs to be also understood. For women, all these positions have to be competed for, but not for vice chairperson, LC1, secretary for information. No, we shall come to that. Now, the Electoral Commission has appointed the period 15th to 19th July 2026. 15th, 19th July 2026 as the dates for the nomination of candidates for election of the 5 members of the Village Women Committee. Akakiiko k'abakyala k'ekyalo kabeerako abantu 5: chairperson, vice chairperson, omuwandiisi, publicity secretary owoona asaasaanya amawulire, n'omuwandiisi, secretary for finance. N'ebifo ebyo byonna byakwesimbawo by'abakyala. Tutaddewo ennaku 15, okutandika ennaku 15 mwezi gw'omusanvu paka ennaku 19, abo bonna bagenda okwesimbawo ku bifo bino, obukiiko bw'abakyala mu byalo, kwe kwewandiisa oba nomination. The nomination of candidates shall be conducted at the respective sub-county, town, or municipal division headquarters by the parish election official, starting at 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. on each of the above dates. Okwewandiisa kuno kwabo bonna bagenda kwesimbawo ku bifo bino bukiiko bw'abakyala kugenda kubeerawo ku magombolola. Kati ojja kutambula gwagenda kwesimbawo oba mu kyalo ky'ewammwe ogende ku gombolola y'ewammwe, oba bw'obeera mu tawuni ogende ku tawuni council oba municipal division headquarters ogende ku town council headquarters bw'obeera mu tawuni, oba municipal division headquarters obeera mu kibuga. by the parish election official. Parish election official yagenda kubeera nomination officer w'obukiiko buno bw'abakyala ow'ebyalo. Ng'oku nomination okwewandiisa kuno nga kutandika essaawa 3 mu nnaku ezebbiri paka essaawa 11 buli lunaku.